Yeah, start high. There we go.
That's a good idea.
That's. I hear you. All right, let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful. That's the only people hanging in right now, and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here tonight with Bruce McCurdy. Hey, Bruce.
Hey, David, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing okay, although that was a really frustrating loss. Man, just when the Oilers win 8 in a row, they got to go and lose 3 in a row. And this was a really frustrating loss. It felt like the Oilers should win this game, eh? It just felt like they were going to win this game. Like all along, they were going to find a way to win this game. You don't feel that way? I felt that way. And then they lose this game 3-1 to the New York Islanders. Burst the grade A shots in the game, which were evidently indicative of nothing. 16-9 for the Oilers, but the 5 alarm shots 6-5 for the Islanders, which is those are the most dangerous of all grade A shots. And the Islanders scored on 3 different 5 alarm shots. Half their 5 alarm shots, and the Oilers scored on their one shot. Wasn't a Draisaitl's goal was not a 5 alarm. It was just a grade A shot, nice coming in fast and firing away. But it was not that. The goalie might have had that one even, but not to be. Bruce, this is our 2 good things, 2 bad things, and 2 numbers podcast. Let's get it going. What's your good thing?
Get it going. Yeah, I'm going to go with Ryan McLeod as my good thing tonight. I thought this was one of his best efforts of the season. I thought he was skating hard and with purpose, and he was actually taking the puck to the hole, which is more than a lot of the Oiler guys were doing. And I'm not sure how much it showed up in his stats in the end, but I do know that he set up some opportunities by certainly for his line mate Conor Brown. He set him up several times, and he himself just getting the puck into good spaces and getting deeper through that net of Islanders defenders, a web of defenders that they strung out from the face-off dots all the way down to the goal line. It seemed like, and I thought he skated hard and with purpose. And sometimes you see the one and not the other. Mm-hmm. And this game, I saw some of both from McLeod, and frankly, I thought he should have seen more of the third period.
Yeah, he set up Conor Brown for 3 grade A shots.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe setting up the wrong guy, but that's a little bit of a shot at poor Conor Brown. He can't score. Yeah.
Who's he supposed to set up?
Well, I know. And Conor Brown, oh man, let's not even get into it, but he's just struggling this year. And McLeod was skating well, and it wasn't a night when the big guys stood out that much. I mean, Coach K broke up the big line of Nugent Hopkins, Hyman, and McDavid. And then he went back to them a bit in the third, I saw. And it looked like it had paid off in the first shift, with Draisaitl scoring, although Nugent Hopkins wasn't in on that goal. But I don't know if I see what he's doing, trying to get Draisaitl going, because the line of Nugent Hopkins, Draisaitl, and Foegele makes sense in a lot of ways. Draisaitl is had his best year as MVP year. He's with Nugent Hopkins and Yamamoto, and this line has a similar vibe or feel to that because Fogel's a Yamamoto-like aggressive forechecking player, and Draisaitl could use someone to help set him up. But man, I felt the absence of that big line, and the play died on Evander Kane's stick quite a bit. So the big guys were not going, and so I don't have one of them as my good thing either this game, because actually they weren't that good. They didn't get it done in the power play, not even close. So I'm going to go with, I was just glad to see Derek Ryan back in the lineup. He had gotten hurt the other game. Looked like he might be out. And I think he's a crucial player for the Oilers. And I note that first power play goal against, they usually have Nugent Hopkins and Derek Ryan out there to start the penalty kill. But Ryan had just was the end of his shift. So they, instead of Nugent Hopkins and Ryan, they went with Nugent Hopkins and Conor Brown. and they missed Derek Ryan. We'll get into it a little bit more. Both of us will talk about that goal in a moment, different aspects of that goal. But Ryan, I thought he just showed up. He showed about 3 or 4 minutes after that. He just showed why he's such a good hockey player. The Oilers were breaking up the ice, and they lost the puck going into the Islanders' zone. And Ryan was just so heads up in terms of getting back and helping out the defenseman Desharnais on the 2-on. It looked like it was going to be a 2-on-1, or could have been. And with about half the Oilers forwards, it would have been a 2-on-1, because they wouldn't have been conscientious. They wouldn't have been thinking, oh, this could easily be a 2-on-1. This is a dangerous moment on the ice. I can't think offense for once. I got to think defense. But Ryan, he does think that way. And he got back and he turned what looked like a 2-on-1 into a 2-on-2. And then Desharnais finished it off with a really good block shot, stopping that scoring opportunity. It's the kind of defensive effort that the Islanders, frankly, had all game long from all their players.
Yep.
And the Oilers didn't lose this at even strength.
No. They
But,
won the even strength game 1-0.
They did. But their even strength defense this year has been lacking now and then, but not because of Derek Ryan. He almost always is in the right spot at the right time, and such a smart player. Bruce, your bad thing.
Yeah. Well, it's a part of the game that wasn't played 5-on-5, and that would be the special teams. Both Edmonton special teams absolutely sewered their chances to win this game. Both were wretched. The power play had a chance in the first period and did nothing with it. And then New York had 2 chances in the second period. Let me see now. It took them 34 seconds to score on the first power play. Minute 29 on the second power play, only because Skinner had made a great save about 5 seconds into the power play, or that one would have been over early. And so then they wound up in a situation where they're due to get the next penalty. Draisaitl's taken a pretty marginal penalty.
Yeah.
And so Draisaitl rather smartly kind of takes a bit of a dive on the next time he's got the puck, and the ref calls it. And so here's the chance. Now you got this great record-setting power play up against New York Islanders. Just let me check now. 70.8% penalty kill, 32nd and last in the NHL. Not only do Edmonton fail to score on them, they give them a free goal. I thought brutal pass to nobody that winds up with a 2-on-1 going the other way, and the puck's in the net. And then they carry on. They make one play that McDavid drives in, draws a second penalty. They have a 5-on-3 for 2 minutes against the 32nd, or 1 minute against the 32nd penalty kill in the league, and they fail to generate anything. And even 5-on-3, they know that pass to Draisaitl is coming to the point that they had a guy waiting in the shooting lane to block a shot on a 5-on-3. Like, it wasn't there. So guess what? There's only 3 guys. One of them's covering that shooting line. There's only 2 other guys. Make it count. So anyway, that didn't happen.
McDavid was so hesitant to shoot tonight, Bruce. Like, he reminded me of the Conor McDavid from before his 60-goal season.
Yeah.
He reminded me of McDavid who didn't shoot enough. And there was one chance he had in the slot where he put it over. He just should have shot. Like, shoot, McDavid. You are such a great goal scorer. And he was hesitant to shoot the puck. It was very frustrating. Bouchard could have launched it a few more times too. But no,
or hit the net when he did.
Yeah, you're right. He could have hit the net. How many did he miss?
8 shot attempts, 2 on net, 5 blocked.
Yeah.
1 wide. The big one in the late going on the 6 on the penalty kill, actually. Late, and they stole the puck and set him up, and he hammered it wide.
It happens. Bruce, I'll just segue to my bad thing, because it's that first goal that the Islanders got on the power play. And the difference in this game was goaltending. And you and I don't think we're high on the list of people who pick on the Oilers goalies a lot. You know, I don't know how many times they've been our bad things this year, Skinner or Picard. I mean, Jack Campbell, I think, was the bad thing, but we're not super quick, at least relatively. I'm going to suggest to jump on the goalies, and even in this game, Skinner, he made some good saves. He made some really good saves. He stopped a breakaway. He stopped some tough plays. But the difference in this game, Bruce, like in so many Oilers losses, the difference was goaltending. And maybe the bad thing is the Islanders got such fantastic goaltending. This is like 3 times running we've had Russian goalies beat our Canadian goalies. First it's Vasilevsky, then it's Bobrovsky, and now it's Sorokin. And man, it's getting
3-star goalies, and
it's tiring. Yeah, they are good goalies. I'm picking on the first one because the 2 power play, the 2 other goals against were pretty good goals. That first goal, though, there was a shot from the high slot that I think Skinner saw clearly. It wasn't a grade A shot, and he let it go through. The puck dropped through him, behind him, and was put in the net by Anders Lee, and no one was covering him. Now, again, Derek Ryan wasn't out there. Conor Brown wasn't. Conor Brown kind of got out of position. He went for the steal instead of covering the passing lane, I thought. That puck, that's why the Islander defenseman who went in and shot that puck, or I think it was the defenseman, was so wide open to get the initial shot. So that wasn't good from Brown. But really, the difference between Skinner and Sorokin was Sorokin has that. He suffocates that puck. He freezes that puck.
Yeah, there's no way that rebound drops down behind him like that.
Yeah, Skinner let it sneak through, and boom, it's 1-1. And a game the Oilers have really dominated up until that point. And after that, Sorokin just stones the Oilers in the third period. Year. So it's not like Skinner was terrible, but he wasn't good enough to win. And goalie's a big part of this game. Do you think the Oilers deserve to win that game, Bruce? What would you say?
Well, all the stats say they were the better team by like a 2-1 margin. My personal opinion is no, they deserve to lose that game because they made crucial mistakes and shot themselves in the foot and did not execute when they actually did have the puck in good positions. Tons and tons of bad decisions and turnovers.
Yeah, it was kind of was that like the Tampa Bay game in a way? Like, even though they kind of pissed it away, like it's.
Well, I'm going. Why are you passing there like over and over again? Like a guy is right in the slot and he decides, no, I'm going to try and make that extra pass through this forest of sticks that's been there all game. And guess what? The puck doesn't get through the forest of sticks that's been there all game. Maybe do something different. I don't know.
Keep it simple, stupid. Yeah, there's something to be said for that. And they didn't get a bounce. Like, they just didn't seem to get a bounce. I have to say the Islanders really executed well in the power play. Those 2 goals that they got were outstanding goals. They just were passing well.
Take that rebound, but yeah.
Well, the rebound, you're right, from Skinner sneaking through him. But other than that, like those were great passing plays, shooting plays, but that was just frustrating as hell to watch the Oilers get goalied again, essentially, and that's what happened. And that's why the Oilers have a losing record right now. Big reason. Yeah. Bruce, what is your numero?
Yeah, I'm going to go with, I could pick a lot of numbers out of this game, but I'm going to go with 8-6-0, which is the Oilers' record in the last 14 games. 571 points percentage over those 14 games. This in a league that's got an average points rate of 553. So in other words, 8-6-0, you're just barely treading water. And in the 14 game span, they had an 8-game winning streak, but they've completely wasted it by having 2 3-game regulation loss winning streaks or losing streaks at the beginning and the end of it, where they never lose one game. They always lose 2, 3, 4 in a row, and almost always they lose in regulation. And it's killing them. It's killing them. Like it's like 0 standings points now in the last week. And they're just losing like tons of ground every night. And they made up a bunch of that ground, and they just turned her and given it all back. It's just aggravating as all get out.
Really is. It's really frustrating. I'm feeling it, Bruce. I'm feeling it tonight.
I am too. You can
The Oilers
probably
got
tell I'm
outworked
pretty
tonight.
agitated myself.
Yeah, the Oilers got outworked a little tonight, and my number is related to that. Often it's said block shots and hits. They're not correlated with winning in the
It just
NHL.
mean you don't have the puck.
But sometimes they're quite significant numbers in a game. Sometimes they're really indicative of a team that wants it more and is trying harder and is outworking the other team. And I'm not saying that's always the case, but that is the case tonight. And the block shots were 22-8 for the New York Islanders. And the hits, let me just see if this is correct, 22-8, because they're always updating these numbers. Yeah, 22-8. And the hits were 25-9 for the Islanders. 25-9. Wow. That is really not great. Some of these guys, they gotta, Conor Brown didn't have a hit tonight.
Hardly anybody did. And Ekholm had 4 of the 9.
Ekholm had 4 of them.
He had half their hits until there was a real late one rewarded to someone else. He had 4 out of 8 with about 5 minutes left in the third period. I looked at the event summary during the last TV timeout, and I was shocked to see such a low total.
McDavid and Draisaitl, not one hit between them.
Nope.
Vinny DeHarnay, not a hit. I mean, it's just as you say, most of the players didn't have a hit.
Players, yeah.
And the Oilers didn't have that prime time effort. I mean, they came out well. Obviously, they had the first 7 grade A shots in the game. They got the 1-0 lead, but after that, they let it slip away. Yeah. So, Bruce, let's move on to my conundrum.
Okay.
About halfway through this game, the Islanders are up 2-1. And the Oilers have a power play. They get this power play. And I was so tense at that moment. I just needed a break from the game. I went and did something else for a while because I couldn't stand to watch the power play in case they didn't score, tied up. They needed a goal. They needed to score in that moment. Yep. And I was just feeling all this tension. And I just realized, like, fuck. And it's tough to be a fan of a team. It's hard to want that team to win so much. And as Sir Alex Ferguson said, misery is the price of being a fan. Because when your team's not winning, that's what you feel. And I realized then, like as a kid, how spoiled I was because I was a Habs fan in the 70s and then an Oilers fan. So my team was constantly winning the Stanley Cup when I was a kid.
Yeah,
I'm getting those, dopamine hits, that euphoria of cheering for that team. But I realized since 1990, cheering for the Oilers, that's the last time my team has won the Cup. And I just thought, like, maybe I should start cheering for more teams. Like, maybe I should try to cheer for all the Canadian teams. So whenever a Canadian team wins, I'm happy. And if a Canadian team wins the Cup, I'll try to recapture that euphoria. But I just don't know. I don't know if I can do that. Like, that's my conundrum. It's like, this team this year. Well, there's been other really tough years too, obviously. But this one's up there. This is up there.
Yeah. Well, I grew up a Leafs fan because there were no Oilers when I was a young fella. So I got to experience. I missed the '62 Cup, but I experienced the '63, '64, '67 Cups for Toronto.
Wow.
And then, of course, the 5 for the Oilers, and of course, being in the barn for 4 of them is a thrill of a lifetime. One of the secrets, David, is to follow multiple sports. Because chances are one of your teams in one of the sports might have it going on at any given time.
My other team is Manchester United.
Fan, a Cardinals baseball fan, a Steelers football fan over the years, and and some of those teams have had some pretty nice runs. But
I don't have the time
1990
though.
is a long time. Yeah, no, neither do I anymore, to be honest. But and the hockey, it's been coming 82 games a year thing with all of the games televised and so on. That just takes a big chunk out of
And we
my
go hard on the
viewing
hockey.
time.
Obviously,
And we do.
obviously this is a part, like it's a part-time job as well for us, right? Like, but but we're into it. Like we, do the scoring
Yeah.
chances. Like we're devoted and
Mhm.
fanatical about it
Yeah.
and thinking about this all the time. So it's a little bit oppressive
Mhm.
when the team isn't doing well. That's for sure. So I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't even watch the other sports. I don't watch NBA. I don't watch NFL. I don't watch Major League Baseball. I don't watch British soccer, although I'm a Manchester United fan, and they're this horribly inconsistent team this year as well. So I don't get any relief from that. And I only watch the highlights of those games on the website. So if for me it's just all the Oilers all the time. And yeah, maybe that's it. It's just I'm just too focused on this and
Yeah. Yeah. It's defeat weighs hard. Vince Lombardi, he's always good for some quotes. Here's one from him: "Defeat is worse than death because you have to live with defeat."
Okay, that's a little nuts, but although it's
And who
probably
was it said there's
technically
only two? There's only two. I was looking for this quote, which I thought was Lombardi. There's only two outcomes in sports: winning and misery. Who said that?
well, when I think that is a Lombardi quote,
That's what I thought too.
or is it a
Yeah,
slightly different than that?
it might be. Might be. I might.
It's something like winning isn't the
Well, winning isn't everything. Winning is the only thing.
that's it. Winning
That's a
isn't everything.
Lombardi. Yeah.
Winning is the only thing.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
it's hard to just like be on the ride and enjoy the ride for what it is sometimes.
Hmm.
Like, you like if we knew the outcome ahead of time, but of course it's the suspense that makes it that's so thrilling. If you try to go back and watch a game when you know the score, it's hard to watch them because they're so boring. It is the suspense that and the drama that keeps us going. And we have of course our players that we're all rooting for. Everyone's got their
Hmm.
favorite players and players they don't like as much. But really with the Oilers,
Yeah.
I root for them all. Like
Yeah. Me too.
I don't have players. I have had players in the past that I'm so down on. I
Hmm.
can't bear to watch them anymore. There's no players on this Oilers
No.
team this year that's like that. There's some who have been a little bit disappointing,
Hmm.
but I like every player genuinely on this team and really see value in all of them. I think this is a good team with good players without one guy who doesn't pull his weight. Even Conor Brown, who's had a hell of a horrible year by his standards, coming back from injury,
By
has
anyone's
his good
standards, really.
moments. Yeah,
Yes, he does.
but he has his good
Yes,
moments,
he
and you can
does.
see the player there. Like, frack, get it together, man. Like you're close. You just
Here's one. Bounce one off the inside of the goal post next time. The outside generally doesn't work. He
yeah.
comes close and ping,
Well,
ping.
this team is trying my patience,
Mhm.
Bruce.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess
And at
that's
the
the
same time, you can't, there are some folks that root for a player so much that they refuse to apportion them any blame for a play that goes wrong. And it's, when something goes against them, it's everybody else's fault. Like Bouchard didn't cut out the 2-on-1 pass on the shorthanded goal, but it wasn't his fault because Nugent Hopkins gave the puck away. And I agree, Nugent Hopkins made by far the bigger error on the play. I don't agree that it was completely one man's fault and that nobody else could do anything about it. But no one else did do anything about it. And as for Nugent Hopkins, who's one of my favorites, he was absolutely wretched in this game. I'm going to give him as bad a grade as I've ever given him for
a two.
turnover on the power play that cost a goal, a turnover on the 5-on-3 that cost him zone time, a turnover, I believe, I'm going to look at the play again on the first power play goal where he tried to clear the puck on the PK and it went right to Dobson. And uh, just nothing was clicking for him at all, at even strength or on either special team. And
Yeah.
it was a very tough night for the Nuge, and he was wearing it by the third period. I thought he looked like kind of like the shoulders were down a little bit, and and anyway.
Not his best game. The scoring chance work that we do, the video review of all the grade A shots.
Mm-hmm.
It does have the effect of keeping us honest in that regard, like not and trying to be fair to all the players.
Mm-hmm.
The only value with what we do is if we're fair and accurate, is if it has some credibility outside of our, that other people will recognize. If it doesn't have that, we're completely wasting our time. So then the impetus is on us. It's on me. Usually I do the first round of grades and then you go over them and we sometimes have discussions about different things that happened. But there is a real onus and imperative on both of us to try to set aside those biases. And you mentioned Bouchard, like he's one of my favorite players. I've always liked him. But on that play, it's clear he's got to cut out that pass. Mm-hmm. He's got to find a way. And I think I don't think he played it well at all. It was clear that guy wasn't going to shoot. That I think it was Page with the puck. He got more and more in a position where he was not going to shoot. Bouchard should have been reading it a little bit better, ready to move over a little bit faster and block that pass. In my eyes, so even though I like the player, our discipline is to try to rate them fairly and accurately on these grade A shots. And
well, apparently Coffey, and in one of his early discussions with Bouchard, talked about risk and reward, and according to Daniel Nugent Bowman, who was interviewed on the Lowdown with Low Tide today, he said, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but basically Coffey told Bouchard that when it comes to high risk, high reward, there was no one more that type of player than Coffey was himself as a player. Yes. And he's absolutely right, because that was how and he said the thing is to recognize the time when the risk isn't worth it. The potential reward isn't worth the risk, and pick your spots a little bit. And Bouchard, to his credit, has been, I think, doing better at that. But 2-on-1 is a
that was a tough play
to stop. Like
I'm not saying it wasn't a tough play. It was a tough play.
He was left back. All the other forwards were caught up the ice, and the Nuge coughed up a pass to basically nobody that left him in a bad spot, and he couldn't. You needed a hero play like Darnell Nurse. He had one early in the power play where he tried to go down and take out the pass, and the guy beat him with speed. He got it through him before he was able to get horizontal on the ice, and Skinner had his back that time. But then later in the game, Nurse himself laid out, and he broke up a 2-on-1 with a great diving play. Like sometimes you got to make the play at least sometimes, and the Oilers on 2-on-1s are not stellar for the most part.
Yeah, Bouchard's been a different player since Paul Coffey's taken over. He's been a much better player, especially with the puck. He's starting to really make plays with the puck, skating with the puck, holding the puck, deking with the puck, deking off the blue line, moving in, deking to get a shot off.
There was a play tonight where he delayed. I thought it was the moment to shoot, and I thought he's going to shoot and it's going to get blocked. There's a guy that's just come over and taken it away, and he recognized it, and he took it inside the guy and sort of held it an extra half second. He shot, and it still got blocked, but it got blocked in behind and created a very dangerous rebound for Hyman.
Yeah.
And, it was just good recognition by him to change his timing on the play to get it through the guy, the first shot blocker.
That Noah Dobson, who's forever linked with Bouchard through the draft, because the Oilers could have taken Dobson, of course, is a hell of a hockey player.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a big, skilled, excellent hockey player. So is Bouchard. They both are. They both turned out to be fantastic draft picks, is how I will frame that. And both of them could be on the next Team Canada. It's possible. Though there's so many great right shot defensemen on Team Canada right now. Candidates, Pietrangelo and McCarr. Maybe others that aren't coming to mind right off the top of my head. Is Burns a right shot?
Yes.
Although Burns is a little long in the tooth. But there's Doughty's right shot, is he not?
Yes.
So there's a ton of them, man. What a plethora of great right shot demon. Anyway, Bruce. All right, so we got 2 games coming up. God, they got to get at least 2 points out.
Thursday,
They got to get
Friday, yeah.
four points would be just magical. Christmas magic.
Yeah.
And that's the Devils and the Rangers, which are two good teams, but you can
Yep.
beat those teams. They're beatable teams. They're not the Harlem Globetrotters. So
Got to be scoring more than one goal, though. All of a
sure
sudden,
do.
the offense has just dried right up these last two games. You know, they had 15 straight games with 3+ goals, and now they have 2 games in a row with 1 goal.
Yeah. I wonder what they'll do with the forward lines if they'll go back to the big McDavid line. I suspect they might. But I think Draisaitl does need to play with a playmaker. I think that was the right instinct. So maybe we saw Gagner with Draisaitl for a shift or two.
Mm-hmm.
Gagner, Draisaitl, and Fogle might be a decent line. I mean, these are obviously not ideal line mates, but Warren Fogle is a seriously underrated player, even though he doesn't get many points. The guy creates an immense amount of grade A shots, charging the net. And there's lots of rebounds because of him, and he makes some good passes. He forechecks like
A couple of
crazy.
very slick passes tonight.
I think he and Draisaitl are a good combination. They need to find that other guy, and maybe Gagner might not be that other guy,
right?
But he is a highly skilled player who can make plays, and I think that's what they need. Kane is now he's had some really good games and some weaker ones. Overall, though, he's kind of a third line energy player, hitting player who makes plays now and then. I think because on the top line he was giving away the play in it with him so much with McDavid and Hyman. I just think they need to go back to that other line and maybe give Gagner a shot with Draisaitl and Fogle.
Yeah. Well, they're still shy at least one top 6 winger.
Yeah.
They put Nuge over there on the wing, and they paid Hyman to come into town. They paid Kane
Brown
to come to town, and they're going to pay Brown for having come to town. But where is the internal development? Like, where's the winger that the team has developed from inside the system that's can put the puck in the net more than once a month?
Yeah, and Holloway, just as he was turning the corner this year, had a couple good games in a row. Bang, he gets hurt again. He's always getting hurt.
Yeah, in theory, he's the guy. In theory, before him, Yamamoto, Puljujarvi were the guys. High draft pick wingers. Lavoie, supposedly such a player. He's still buried in the minors on his second contract. Like, where is the development?
Well, they did develop Nuge as a winger.
Yeah, eventually,
of course, he was a first overall pick.
Yeah,
so I don't know if
as a
that's
center.
Developing or just actually finding the right spot for him at last.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, they could do worse than put Sam Gagner up there for a couple of games with Draisaitl. He's a very smart, skilled player. He's moving well. He is tricky.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I would. That would
for a
be
game or two. Yeah, I mean, it's not the worst idea. Like, I don't think he could play like 18 minutes a night kind of workload over any extended period, but I do think he could step up in a short time. And I mean, it would have to be a game where he's feeling it, and the coach would have to be paying attention to whether he's feeling it or not, which I would argue that the coach didn't necessarily have a real strong feel on who was and wasn't feeling it in tonight's game. Maybe that's just...
Yeah. All right, Bruce.
All right, Dave.
Any other final thoughts?
I get to write about this pig now. 83-38, man, and shot attempts. 83-38. What's not to like? The shots were 32-20 for Edmonton, but I think at the moment New York made it 3-1. It was like 17-12 for New York, and then they got like 3 more shots for the entire rest of the game. Well, they just basically let Edmonton pound away from the outside.
But the expected goals weren't that different. It was about, like, from our numbers, it's about 3 to 2.7, 3.1 to 2.7. It was very close, like, if you go by the quality of the shots. So, yeah, the Corsi numbers were not indicative of the play tonight at a team level.
Natural stat trick had it 4.2 to 2.2 for expected goals, but
Yeah, we're a lot closer than that.
I don't see that as being the story of this game.
No.
The story of this game was execution. Or
In.
lack of same.
All right. Thanks, Bruce. Thanks for talking tonight.
Right. Thanks for listening, everyone.
And in the meantime, and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.